This is The Wheel Weaves, a Wheel of Time podcast with no spoilers. Hey everyone, I'm your host Dani, and I'm the first-time reader going through this series chapter by chapter. As always, there's no spoilers past the chapter we're covering, and that means it's totally safe for first-time readers. I'm joined by my co-host Brett, who's a longtime fan, and he's guiding me on this journey. We'd like to thank and acknowledge our executive producers, Brandy and Kirkwood, Sean McGuire, Yanis, Albert Lorenzo, LightBlindedFool, Green Man, Deyvis Ferreira, Margaret, Big C, Bennett Williamson, Dylan C, Hannah Green, and Jamie Milligan. And we're really excited because today we have a new executive producer to welcome to our team. So thank you so much to Jordan Gower. We're really excited to have you on our executive producer team. We also just want to thank and acknowledge a few people who renewed their annual pledge on Patreon. So thank you so much to Green Man, and then a special thank you to Debbie Coster and Renna, who renewed their annual pledge for a second year in a row. I also want to make a slight correction because Rory Whaley renewed his pledge over in June, and somehow we missed it because of Patreon making things a little bit more confusing for me than they need to be. So, sorry we missed you, Rory. We really appreciate your renewal. Now, I also have a name correction for Steinen Leifsdaughter, and they also increased their pledge, so thank you so much. We also want to give a shout out to Sophie Johansson and Anders Nervold for becoming our newest patrons. Thank you so much for joining us and our team and supporting us. We really, really appreciate it. In this episode, we're talking about chapters 13 and 14 of Knife of Dreams.
Yeah, chapter 13 is Siege. And chapter 14 is Wet Things.
Yeah.
So it starts really strong because it's like siege and we're fighting and we're doing this. And then it's like,
I thought there was going to be an ending.
Hooray, it's over. I mean?
Yeah.
This attack is over. Now let's go get out of our wet things.
Wet clothes. Chapter 14 actually is called, Hey, did you know your clothes are wet?
And you're pregnant.
Also, you're pregnant. Did you know you're pregnant?
Over and over again.
Oh, gosh. Okay. We'll talk about it because literally what else is there to talk about?
I'll tell you my favorite thing when we get there. It actually happens in the first chapter.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not going to tell you, but there's my favorite thing.
Okay.
Okay.
Is it how excited Brigida is? That there's somebody else here who has some battle knowledge? Because that's my favorite thing.
I mean, it's adjacent. It's not that, but it's like close.
And I have some serious questions about military stuff.
Oh, good. Like mercenary groups.
That I really don't think you're going to be able to answer.
I bet that I can.
No, because this is me being angry about the plot.
Oh, okay.
Not actually about militaries.
Okay.
Just about Elaine in general.
Sure.
Lots of things made me mad.
Yeah.
Remember how I was like, I want to see how Elaine's doing. Changed my mind.
Don't want it.
Don't care.
I don't want this anymore.
Don't care. And now we're slowed down on book stuff because of the show stuff.
Right, so you're welcome for doing 2 chapters.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I would have been so mad. I would have been so mad if chapter 14 was just on its own.
Yeah.
I would have been so angry. I'd be like, what was this for? Literally nothing. I guess we find out some sea folk stuff, and that's like a little bit interesting, but like, no, this is Recap Central.
Oh yeah.
It's Recap Central.
Yeah, we're doing that. I'm curious about the questions now, but before we do that, I went down a little bit of a rabbit hole on Wikipedia again.
You always do. That's your favorite thing.
Yeah, I got some fun information here. So, yeah, Caemlyn's under attack, and apparently it's been like a while now, and Elaine and Brigida are keeping things together with mercenary groups. So I thought I'd do a little bit of digging into some fun facts about mercenary groups and all that good stuff.
Okay.
I figured there had to be something.
Okay.
Right? So, and I'm not wrong, but I'm not right, but I'm not totally wrong.
Can I just tell you my question now?
Sure.
And you could be like, I'm going to answer that.
Yeah, maybe I'll work it in.
Or we'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
My question is, why is it better to pay a bunch of rando people from wherever to fight for you instead of allying with people you're allies with?
It's not better.
Yeah, but why to Elaine is that better? Like, why won't she use the Aiel and the Saldean army?
Yeah.
Like, everybody who was there who could have helped her smush this siege immediately. And she's like, no, I need to win this the right way. But it's like, pay a bunch of people from where? Lugard? Like, what the fuck are you doing, Elaine?
That's a fair question, actually, and I agree, because I'm also of the mindset that Elaine should just use the tools that she has.
Yeah.
Just like the Aiel are like, why aren't we doing this? And they're like, no, don't. She doesn't want to. I don't understand either. But maybe I can answer that with a couple of things from my fun fact.
Yeah, I think so.
We'll expand.
I'm going to be so angry.
This is the explanation I'm going to give you. So there are a few names for mercenaries, like sellswords, because they sell their swords.
That's right.
But groups of mercenaries are sometimes called free companies because they're free from any government or monarchy control. So the reason why I think it would be better to pay mercenaries than it would be to use an outside force, because the outside forces aren't free companies.
No.
They're tied to a political faction,
they're
a
loyal.
country.
They're loyal to
loyalty.
a different country.
And for mercenaries, even though it's not better, they are loyal to the person paying them. So they're not tied to any other country or nation. They're just literally tied to the highest bidder. So for the common people looking onto that, like, that's a normal course of action.
Okay.
Hiring
I still
mercenary
think it's dumb
groups,
because they are way worse fighters.
They're worse, and they're not as loyal necessarily.
Yeah.
Right? And we kind of get
And
like a little
Brigida
tidbit
doesn't trust
here.
them at all. Like, it's terrible.
Yeah, like, it's not great, but I also kind of understand it, but I also disagree with it.
Yeah, me too.
So
Okay.
that's the gist of it. So I looked into some real-world stuff for mercenary groups, and apparently the Geneva Conventions declared that mercenaries aren't recognized as legitimate combatants, so they don't actually have the same legal protections that regular military does, and a lot of countries actually ban citizens from fighting in mercenary companies, and your citizenship can be revoked if you join.
Like in the real world.
In the real world. Yeah. So if you were thinking, I'm going to go join a mercenary group, probably don't do it.
Oh, man.
I know, ruining all the weekend plans. Anyways, there's a lot of mercenary groups that are relatively famous, but I'm just going to talk about the ones that are relevant to the Wheel of Time.
Okay.
So first off, we got possibly the most recognized one ever, is called the 10,000. And it's a mercenary group that is the subject of a very famous Greek work by the writer Xenophon called Anabasis. And in the 10,000 mercenary group, guess how many people they had in it?
10,000.
Right, 14,000. 10,000 was the number they had after their first major conflict, but the story is kind of interesting because they were hired to fight a war to help Cyrus the Younger seize the throne of Persia from his brother, and they actually won the conflict, but Cyrus died in the battle, and then the story is about their epic escape through enemy territories. So it's kind of cool, and it's big, a little bit relevant, but there's one particular called the White Company from the 1360s, and they were known as one of the most elite mercenary armies in Italy. One interesting similarity is that the name, the White Company, there's no actual known origin for it, except it's maybe a reference to the brightly polished armor that they wore. So in my mind, it's like, hey, a little bit like White Cloaks.
Okay.
Right? And then it was led later on by the Englishman Sir John Hawkwood. Close.
Not close.
Close enough. But what's interesting is that one of the mercenary groups that fought against them was led by a Welshman, and this is a Welsh name, so I'm going to pronounce it wrong.
Okay.
But it's Owain Logok. And Owain Logok is also known as Owain of the Red Hand.
No.
Who led a mercenary group.
No.
Holy moly.
Okay.
More on that later. We're not going to do it today.
Okay. That one I like.
Yeah. Okay. And we get a little bit of Matt in these chapters, too.
No, we don't.
Teensy bit.
No.
A reference, a statement by Brigida.
Okay. Maybe. We get Elaine thinking, hope that guy's okay.
Yeah.
And then we move on with our lives.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all. Okay, and what is interesting, actually, is when I was reading these chapters, I thought to myself, I haven't written in my notebook in a while.
Oh, but
and
you're going to need to talk about that.
I feel like I'm going to need to go to my notebook.
A little bit.
My notebook from Crossroads of Twilight, where I wrote down 92 individual Aes Sedai names for just Crossroads of Twilight.
Sure.
Part of those names are from the Aes Sedai who are in Camelin with Elaine.
Here we go. We got some stuff going on.
I didn't write down any sea folk stuff. And I feel like maybe I should.
Okay.
To start to keep track.
Like you don't trust
here,
all of them? Yeah, okay.
Sea folk stuff, and then also the Damani who are here.
Yeah, we're touching on the murder mystery again, too. Like there's a
touching
whole
on the
lot of
murder
little
mystery.
things.
There's little stuff.
Okay.
There's some stuff. There's some stuff to break down and talk about, and then I hope after these 2 chapters, we're gonna go talk to somebody else.
All right, that's fair.
Okay, no. I take that back. I have 2 things I hope after these chapters. We haven't even started talking about the chapters yet.
Okay.
After these chapters, I hope either we're still with Elaine and we get, like, a good-ass battle.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Or we're leaving Elaine for a long time.
Okay.
Those are the only 2 options I want here.
Okay.
Because if I have to listen to her being annoyed that she's pregnant anymore.
you're gonna freak out.
I'm so done with it. And
yeah.
you know, the thing about being pregnant is your emotions are a little bit heightened.
Sure.
Like, you're a little bit emotional, and you have a little bit, like, you're a little mood swingy.
Yeah.
But not like this.
Okay.
Like, this is a man writing about what it must be like to have mood swings while pregnant.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's what this feels like to me.
I get that.
There is a moment where I'm like, okay, maybe it's Brigida's fault.
Yeah.
You know, and she has all these bonds.
Well, she also has Avienda.
Yeah, she's
and
got
then she
lots
also has
of,
Rand.
she can feel everybody else's emotions also.
Everyone's being super annoying, too,
which
this
for
chapter.
sure won't help, but just on the annoying side.
For sure,
you
for
know?
sure. And I mean, hey, asterisk, everybody is affected differently by pregnancy, so maybe that's just how Elaine is. I don't know. Right? Is there that to consider, too?
No.
No. Okay. All right, well, let's start Siege. Let's do it. Let's get into this.
Chapter symbol's the lion. Let's go into it. Elaine perspective, she is on her horse in a crowded street shouting, push them, push them.
And it's only crowded because it's all of her guards.
I know. Okay, so Caitlin's being attacked, and for the life of me, I absolutely cannot picture where she might be right now and, like, what's going on. Because at some point soon, she's gonna ride her horse into, like, a room.
Yeah.
And I don't even know what's going on.
Okay, so just imagine...
And I didn't even try to figure out what was going on.
Easy way, imagine a wall, like, 50 feet in front of you. And you know how walls have those, like, little guard towers where you can, like, go up to get onto the walls or whatever?
Uh-huh, sure.
So she's way back, away from the fighting, because, you know...
Is she on the wall?
It's hard to say, but no. She's on the street. And then she goes in, and then through wherever.
But how can she tell what's happening if she's not, like, up on a wall or something?
Well, because they're trying to get over the wall with, like, ladders and stuff. And they're trying to bust their way in, so they're fighting up on the walls. And sometimes there's staircases that go up to the walls, too. It's not really clear, but...
You're right.
We've been in like, the forts before.
Clear as mud.
Remember how in the forts they have the stairways up to the top? You could see, potentially.
Sure, but I can't ride my horse up those.
No, you shouldn't.
I just don't
Imagine bigger and made of stone. I don't know what to tell you. That's as good as it's getting right now.
Okay, so from what I could tell, there were a whole bunch of soldiers up on this city wall. Or there are a whole bunch of soldiers on the city wall.
Yeah.
And they're fighting some attackers.
Yeah.
And the majority of them are mercenaries that Elaine's been hiring.
And Brigida's up there, too.
And Brigida's up there, too. And so there's a dramatic scene where Elaine watches a man attack Brigida, but she's a badass, and that's great.
Yeah, well, she smacks the dude, and he, like, falls to his bloody death.
Oh my gosh.
So she's up there, and he falls down, I guess. So.
Right. Okay. So now, if you've forgotten, Elaine is pregnant.
Right, yep.
And she snaps at some people, and then thinks about how she hates her emotions leaping around.
Yeah.
And so that's probably one of the last times I want to talk about this.
Sure.
Although it is highlighted quite frequently.
Because we have to get to the point where the end of the next chapter makes sense. Why she screams out in frustration.
Yeah.
She's been berated with people talking about the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
Until finally at the end of these two chapters it's released.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, I get it.
Okay.
If you're feeling frustrated, imagine how she feels.
Yeah, but I'm also not, like, fighting to be queen.
Yeah, I get that too.
Hold yourself together.
Can't.
Okay. Well, Avienda's like, you know, if this what happens when you're pregnant, well, then I'm never gonna be that.
Yeah.
Never for me, because this sucks.
It looks like it sucks.
Looks terrible. And I mean, like, no, it's not great. It's not fun.
Yeah.
Oh, some people have a great time with it.
That's true.
Others, harder time.
Not Elaine.
Not Elaine.
Okay.
Now, it's interesting, though, because I feel like the last time we saw her, she was not getting sick, like morning sickness. She wasn't, like, sick at all.
Okay.
And she's like, oh, I'm so glad I'm not sick at all.
Yeah.
Right, so, like, she skipped that part
That's
of
the
it.
whole channeling thing, though. We got that as an explanation.
Oh,
like,
is it?
because you can channel, you generally don't get the sickness, like the morning sickness.
Right, and, you know, I completely forgot to do the thing where it's like, the last time we saw Elaine, this was happening.
Yeah. I mean, she was pregnant.
She was pregnant.
And she was annoyed.
She was annoyed. What else was happening?
Arimella was, like, around.
Was happening, sort of.
Yeah, well, they were around. We weren't really getting a lot of attacks on the walls.
No, we weren't getting attacks on the wall.
We were getting some skirmishes outside because Doyle and Malar kept, like, leading the guys out to go and fight.
Right. And then
now
also...
there's arsons happening.
There are the fires.
Yeah.
And then the new Seafolk deal.
Yes.
Which we'll talk about when we get to the Seafolk.
Sure, that works.
Now, we get some information on how things have been going around here. So, this is not Aramilla's first attack on the walls. And it's been happening for about a couple weeks now.
Yeah.
But things really have been ramping up with the attacks now coming 3 to 4 times a day.
Which is a lot. That's a lot.
Right. So Aramilla knows that Elaine doesn't have enough soldiers to defend the entire city. And all she really needs to do is seize one gate. And if she fights inside the walls, then it's basically over. And Elaine's like, I don't even really want to be the queen if that happens.
Well,
because
and she wouldn't probably because then the blood is
she'll
on the
lose. Yeah.
Yeah, some people might stand up and try to fight back like common folk, but that's just a messy situation.
Yeah.
And truthfully, it might not be Aramilla on the throne after that too, because then it's 2 people who are fighting are killing a bunch of commoners.
Yeah.
Nobody likes that.
No, this is all a disaster.
It's not great. I would suggest Aramilla make some sort of giant wooden horse and then, tries to sneak
You love that?
Yeah. And then get a Brad Pitt type to get inside that horse and then go on the inside and it's good. You're good. Mm-hmm. Basically, that's how you take the throne of Andor. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So now Elaine here has lookouts who are calling out where the attacks are coming from. And then there are kinswomen who link and make gateways to bring the soldiers to the spot where they're fighting. Yeah. And so far it's working. So the kinswomen now have these jobs.
Yes. Yeah.
To do, which is better for them because they're the ones who are the tower runaways. Yeah. And now they're sort of going to be accepted to the tower again.
They're sort of novices, but not really. And
a
handful of them are novices, but the rest of them aren't yet.
It's kind of complex.
Yeah. And Elaine is really trying to walk the fine line of using the power and using the channelers, but not using them for actual battle, because that would be very bad for a lot of reasons.
I disagree.
Well,
if we're using them for this, use it to literally, hold all the soldiers in air.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Stop attacking my city. Hold everybody in air.
Boom. There you go.
Done. Air shield.
What's wrong? Why not fireballs? Fireballs from the ramparts. Be they wasn't the power. They were...
Fireballs.
Just like normal fireballs.
Normal fireballs from normal catapults.
Where's Aludra?
Right.
Right? Mm-hmm. Isn't that the plan, basically?
Yeah.
Basically the same thing.
But here's the thing. We don't have to hurt people. We just have to stop them from hurting us.
Right.
It's defense.
Just be don't.
Just don't.
Just don't. Go and kidnap Aramilla.
I have an idea. Air dome.
How big?
Big enough.
Okay.
Around the entire siege camp so they can't leave.
Well, they're surrounding the city. Oh. That's way too much of the power.
Okay. So anywhere, so they can see where the attacks are coming from.
You don't need to make a dome, though, because nobody...
You're right.
You just gotta make a
wall.
A wall around them.
Yeah.
And be don't.
Yeah. Or just hold them all. There's enough channelers here that they could link to be powerful enough to just hold the soldiers in air.
Yeah.
Just hold them there.
Yep. Gateway into Aramilla's tent and murder her. That's another option. I'm just... Okay.
Now that's crossing a line.
Gateway into her tent and then take her captive.
Yes, do that.
That would work too.
That would be better.
Okay.
Yeah, have we thought of that?
There are options here. Yeah.
Stealth mission.
Sure.
There's a lot of options.
Yeah.
I could talk for a long time about all the different options that I would do.
How else would you do it?
So, I would just be smart about it.
Yeah, okay.
And I feel like they're almost being smart, and then they're not being,
Yeah. And Elaine, wishes she had a thought of the whole making the gateways to move my soldiers around the city sooner, and then maybe she wouldn't be stuck in this terrible deal with the sea folk. Mm-hmm. But she didn't think of it, so here we are.
Yeah, because she's using the sea folk to go out to Tyr and whatever and bring stuff back.
Yeah, and there's you got to bring food into the city, you got to do some scouting missions, but we could be a lot smarter about this too.
Yeah.
Anyways, but we're here, so.
Okay, this is what's happening. So one of Elaine's bodyguards calls out that the attack is coming to an end because Aramilla's soldiers are retreating.
Yeah.
So that's good news. Now, Elaine takes the opportunity to gallop off towards Brigida, who's fighting on the wall.
That's what it seems like, yep.
Okay. So some of the soldiers she passes by warn her that she shouldn't be this close to all the fighting. And then she ignores them and does whatever she wants to do.
Yeah, because she's not stupid. She'll wait till it's safe. This is actually a big thing too, though.
Well, her whole thing is, I can do whatever the hell I want while I'm pregnant right now, because Min had a viewing.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, that's a big thing.
Min had a viewing that I'm gonna have my babies.
Therefore.
And everyone will be safe. So therefore, while I'm pregnant, before I have my babies, I'm not gonna die.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, like, let's go to Shale Ghul right now and go kill the Dark One. Let's go do it.
Cool.
If you're actually safe. So how do you feel about this? Like the mentality, because she clearly has figured something out.
I think it's wrong.
Okay.
Because, like, Min's viewing is obviously right, saying that she's gonna have healthy babies.
Sure.
Whatever. But in the meantime, while she's, like, in the middle of her pregnancy right now, she could, like, take a wound to the head.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I like that that's where you went.
Well, like, she could be wounded.
Yes.
Just not fatally.
Yeah. And still give birth.
And still give birth.
Yeah, to healthy babies.
And I mean, like, she also still, like, she might be bedridden for, like, 3 months.
Sure.
And, like, healed by other Aes Sedai and stuff like that. And then, in the end, still be able to give birth to healthy babies.
Yeah.
Like,
there are options here.
Yeah. Or you could be kidnapped.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if you ride out into where the fighting is.
Sure. They just take you.
They take you.
And, like, you're healthy.
And you're healthy, but you're having a baby, and you're not queen, and you're definitely not where you want to be.
Yeah, okay.
Right? There's so many, like...
So what you're saying, the logic is flawed.
Okay. Flawed logic.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say.
Oh, man.
So...
That's good.
And they're all like, Elaine, got us again. No arguments to this.
Well, no, Avienda's like, I'd rather not test the viewing that Min had, but that is the only real...
Okay, so I'm torn between Elaine, like, going out and doing stupid things, and also allowing her autonomy.
Sure.
She's allowed to do whatever the hell she wants to do. She's her own person, and people can't just stop her.
Except as the daughter heir to be queen, they should stop her.
Yeah, but they don't... But she has autonomy to do what she wants to do. Even if it's dumb.
But not if you're gonna be the queen. Then you don't get to do whatever you want all the time.
But then maybe she's not fit to be queen.
Yeah, okay, we can agree on that.
Yeah.
There you go, perfect.
I've been saying it for a long time
Do we even want her to be queen?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if she has the experience.
Yeah.
Are there other people who could be better queens?
Yeah, well, the issue, if you recall, back when we, like, first met Elaine, one of the first interactions, and again, and then again, and I think a fourth time too, she always talks about the past queens of Andor having the bravery and the courage to ride out into battle with the soldiers and rally people.
Yeah, she has a complex, is what you're saying. Yeah.
She has an issue. Mm-hmm. She has an issue. And in the same breath, she thinks about her mother and Lenny, who are both now for sure dead, but like, my mother never gave in to demands of the sea folk and did all these great things. So
and it's like, you don't even know.
She has issues.
You don't even know what your mother has done and said and made bargains and...
For sure not. Like, you've no idea.
Because, like, that's part of being queen.
Yeah.
Is making alliances and then also, like, making treaties and concessions where necessary. Like, she would have to concede sometimes.
For sure.
So...
Yeah, I mean, Morghese isn't queen now, and she would maybe be in a different spot too, but, like, who knows? Mm-hmm. Anyways, whole point, Elaine has some issues. And that's okay.
So now, Brigida is up here still calling out orders to soldiers and firing arrows at people. Like, the battle's still going on.
Yeah, like, they're retreating, but they're not all gone
yet. And, like, Elaine is there, and she's like, I knew you shouldn't have come along today. And then Elaine's like, oh, yeah? How you gonna stop me? And Brigida's like, I'll literally tie you up and have Avienda sit on you.
You can't channel reliably right now, so that's an option.
Yeah. Oh, also Avienda is here too?
Well, she was... Okay, the horse almost murdered Avienda. It bucked her off of the back. It was close. She almost died.
She's like Swan.
Yeah, she is. A little. But she's an Aiel, so, like, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Anyways, she's here, and she's still defending Elaine, obviously.
Yeah. Okay. And then this is where Elaine's like, don't worry, I'm perfectly safe. I'm gonna have my baby, so duh.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. And now, one of the mercenaries nearby...
Yeah, so this guy is a Balaman.
Okay.
There's a whole thing about this in this chapter, so we gotta kind of break it down.
Okay. Do you want to do that?
Sure, yeah. I thought this was what you were gonna ask about the whole mercenary groups. Like, how does this all work?
Not really.
Okay. Well,
I didn't pay enough attention to actually remember, so...
But there's a good lesson here. So, the guy says... Hey, I recognize some of the attackers from that mercenary group, and I know the guy who runs that group, he's a good man. And Elaine says, oh, he made his choice and you made yours, I hope you're not regretting it. Because the mercenary groups are all doing it for money. So a lot of mercenary groups would have relationships with each other, like they know each other.
Yeah.
They fought with each other, they fought against each other. So what the guy says is, hey, like, I know the guy, and I'm happy to be on your side. I'd rather defend Caemlyn's walls than attack it. Because if you think about attacking a city with big, giant defensive walls, you're probably going to die attacking it.
You're going to lose.
Yeah, it's not a good situation. So Elaine makes a comment to this guy and says, hey, I noticed that your men have crossbows and they're not using them. Like on the retreating soldiers.
Okay, yeah.
So he says, kill them while they're running away. And he says, well, hey, like, we're all mercenaries here. And if we're too hard on them while they're retreating, if we're shooting them down while they're running away, then next time if we're running away, they're not going to be very nice to us either.
Yeah.
So we're trying to, like, keep a little bit of peace here.
Okay. And Elaine's like, I don't care. Use them.
Yes. And he's like, okay, sure.
And isn't going to.
No, and that's what Elaine asks later. She asks Brigida, hey, is he going to listen to my order? And she's like, no, obviously not. And it's not good as a queen to give orders that aren't going to be followed.
Well, she also shouldn't be giving battle orders.
No,
that is not her role.
Yeah, especially with the mercenaries who were like, hey, I know those mercenaries. It's like, you don't, why?
Also, mercenaries, like, it sucks. This isn't who should be fighting
Use
this
the
war.
Aiel if you really want to clear these people away.
Honestly.
Yeah.
They'll do it.
In an afternoon.
Literally.
Yeah, literally in an afternoon.
Why don't we pay the Aiel and call them mercenaries?
Because they're not a free company. They're not.
But that's the thing. Like, as far as anyone in this land is concerned,
I know
Aiel could be mercenaries,
and you could spin that so many ways.
You could spin it so easily.
I know.
And then also like alliance with a powerful nation.
Yeah, and as queen, I'd be like, hey, I have the Dragon Reborn's babies. Our city's safe with me.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things she could do here, and I get that there's
things.
some dangers, because dark friends and evil and all that, but...
Blah, blah.
The book series would be a lot shorter if everyone did what they should have done.
I know, but this in particular is just extra annoying.
Yeah.
You know? Because we still could have got the fight and the siege and the everything.
Yeah.
Except we could have people fighting who we want to see fighting.
That's true.
And Elaine could be making some smart decisions. Like, it's really irritating to me that over and over and over again, Elaine isn't maybe making the best decisions here. And there are going to be, for sure, people who argue that she is.
Yeah.
But as I see this...
I'm pretty sure I've also argued for Elaine's decisions, too.
Yeah.
But...
I get it. But as I see this, this is not the best decision here.
Yeah.
This is a disaster. This feels like a disaster.
Yeah.
And maybe it's supposed to, and that's fine. You know, this is the book we're reading, but it annoys the shit out of me.
Yeah, yeah.
At some point, I need this not to be a disaster for Elaine if I'm supposed to back her as queen.
Okay.
Because if she wins this, and it still is like a haphazard disaster, I don't even think she deserves the crown.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, then she can just move to Kyrian.
Oh, yeah.
But she's supposed to take that next, right?
Well, honestly, if she just went and sat on that throne, I think she deserves that a little more.
There you go.
Than what she's doing here.
Okay. I get where you're coming from, and
I'm just trying to take a hard stance because I'm just so irritated. And it's funny because I read these chapters throughout the week, and then today's Sunday, right? So we sat down, and I was like, what happens again? And I was like, oh, it's Elaine.
Oh,
I forgot, and I was so annoyed.
Got so wrapped up with the show stuff.
So here we are, I guess. Okay.
And this is the part where it sneaks in the little piece about Brigida mentioning Matt Cawthon and how, rolling the dice on mercenaries and not knowing how the mercenaries are going to land, so...
Right. Now, this next part I do really want to talk about.
Yeah, okay.
Because the conversation is interrupted by a huge crash of thunder, like rumbling booms.
Yeah, clouds coming out of nowhere.
Coming from the city behind her. Huge, massive black clouds over the inner city, lightning like crazy. And I was like, oh shit.
Like Forsaken attack?
Not Forsaken attack, but I thought something was seriously happening.
Okay.
I thought maybe Arimilla has Aes Sedai or something.
Oh,
no, maybe
okay.
not Aes Sedai, or like has some wise ones or kinswomen or recruited. Because you know how a lot of the sea folk are like leaving.
Yeah.
Caemlyn, like maybe she's somehow recruited them.
For sure. She's literally doing deals with like dark friends.
Yeah. Well,
we saw that in the Arimilla perspective.
Arimilla's doing deals with dark friends?
Not necessarily knowingly.
Oh, okay.
But there was like the connections, and the Lady Cheyenne is clearly doing something and meeting with people who are like in her camp.
Okay, true. Yeah.
It was not a direct, but it was like adjacent.
Okay. But right now, I had no idea. I just thought this was the power.
Yeah.
Because we have the soldiers retreating, and I thought this was attack.
Yeah.
To, like, distract, and then they'd, like, come again. Like, the soldiers would all rush in, and it's, like, decoy.
Oh, my goodness.
Because that
would have been cool.
Because it really felt like Battle of Kyrian.
Yeah.
With shooting lightnings.
Yeah.
From a mile away.
That's why I said Forsaken attack or something, because who else could or would?
Right. Yeah, I didn't think Forsaken at any point.
Sure.
Because why are Forsaken attacking Caitlyn right now? You know, like, that would be weird. But, like, I really thought this was part of the attack on Caitlyn.
Turns out it's just like Cloud Bowl 2, Lightning Storm Boogaloo situation.
Turns out it's literally nothing.
Yeah, I
know.
Like,
actually literally nothing. And it's so beyond confusing.
Yeah.
It's just all of a sudden it's a rainstorm so that she can be wet for the next chapter.
It's like...
That's like literally it.
It's more Bubble of Evil adjacent weird stuff happening in the world. It's more like that.
Okay.
You're gonna have to get used to weird things happening all over the place.
Okay, fine.
You know...
I can get on board with that a little bit.
I'm gonna spoil it for you. The clouds are actually ghosts.
See?
Yeah.
That would be so cool.
That's what it is. Ghost clouds.
At least that would be something. This feels like, it's just a thunderstorm. It's just so anticlimactic. Like, the most anticlimactic thing I've ever read.
Especially because Elaine can't channel, and she's like, I can't do this. Avienda. And then Avienda's like, yeah, okay.
Sucks at it, though.
But she does it, and it's fine.
But, like, not as quickly as Elaine could have.
No, it takes a page, and it's done.
Like, my eye is twitching.
Yeah.
I cannot. It is so anticlimactic.
Okay, but it's a good insight into weather channeling, because if you do too much too fast with weather, then it causes ripple effects, and then that can affect the countryside for leagues.
I know.
And potentially there could be raging storms and floods.
Especially considering this is just a thunderstorm.
But, like, with Dark One, maybe having his fingers in there.
No, maybe.
Yeah. Okay, that's what you're getting.
Okay, well, I thought something exciting was going to happen with this, and, like, nothing did.
Yeah, now they're wet.
Now it's just rain.
She dispersed it, and then it turned to rain.
And then at one point, Avienda likes the rain.
She does. Well, she's an Aiel.
Well, she's like, ooh, rain falling from the sky is so fun.
Don't you know?
Yeah.
Reminds her of her boyfriend.
Because of the time he did that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
She doesn't say that.
No!
Oh, I was like, what?
Oh, man.
I was like, how much of this chapter do I not remember? Okay. All right. So they're like, okay, I guess we need to leave. So they do. And they're going to head back to where the kinswoman opened up the gateway earlier so that we can get back to the palace faster.
Well, yeah,
right?
So you can't open up a gateway if you don't know the spot, but if you open up a gateway somewhere, you can go open up a gateway.
But we're in Camelin, right?
Yeah, but that's a general sense. Like, you gotta know the real spot. So if you open up a gateway somewhere...
No, I'm just saying, we could literally just, like, ride.
Yeah, but that's slower. That's the point.
Okay. At least we're using the power for something.
This is faster.
Yeah. So now this is recap time.
Yep.
Because we get a whole thing about the situation about the kin being readmitted to the tower eventually, and Elaine gets more annoyed when Elise specifically waits for Brigida to give the order to open the gateways instead of listening to her.
Yeah.
And Elise is the one who Nynaeve didn't like, right?
Yeah, well, she was the one who was, like, running the farm way back in the day.
That's right.
And she's, like, a no-nonsense type of lady.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
All right. So they all go through the gateway, back to the stable, and at the same time that they arrive back,
yep,
a group of soldiers are coming through another gateway.
Yeah.
But you probably want to talk about the weird, like, metaphysics of this entire situation.
Heck yeah, I do. Interesting
tidbit
about
gateways.
I, like,
read it, and I was like, Brett loves this, I bet.
Yeah, so if you try to open a gateway where one already exists, yours is displaced just enough that the two don't touch, and the gap between them is razor thin.
Ooh.
So, I mean, cool, but also the exact spot or touching. So if you have, like, hey, this is the wall where we come out of for traveling, that kind of makes sense. So in the real world, it probably wouldn't happen very much.
Yeah, because you got so much space.
There's so much space, and even if you're, like, a half an inch in front of it, like, how does that work?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, there we go. There's an answer to the question, if you were wondering.
Wasn't.
You can't open up a gateway in the same place.
Exactly
in the same place.
Yeah, but two can open up, like, literally beside each other.
Yeah.
Which
and, like,
is basically what happens here.
Yeah.
Now, let's get to the good stuff.
Right, okay.
So, a group of soldiers are coming through the gateway here, and this is good news.
It's good news.
It's not like a group of soldiers who are here to attack the palace.
They don't have gateways on the other side.
They don't have gateways.
Yeah. As far as we know.
Exactly. But like it could have been.
Could have been.
It could have been like, oh my god, where'd that gateway come from?
For sure.
No, we know. We know where it came from.
Yeah. If I was Elaine, I would take my soldiers and then make a gateway into Arimel's tent, and then 1,000 soldiers go into Arimel's tent. No? Okay.
Yeah, you already sort of said that already.
There's options for what we could do.
I know, we've already talked, we've talked about it. So, now, Brigida's like, cool, a group of soldiers, this is great.
Yeah.
And then we learn that the kinswomen have brought word of dozens and dozens of groups trying to find a way into the city to support Elaine.
They just can't find the groups, though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So they know there's groups of people out there. They just can't locate them. And this is my favorite part of the chapter.
Okay, this ties in a bunch of stuff from before.
Yeah.
Right? From Crossroads of Twilight?
She was visiting houses.
Yes.
And they're like, yeah, we sent people, but they're like somewhere in the country.
And we're like, maybe they're just dead.
Yeah.
They're either there or they're dead.
Or still walking because there was snow, and now there's less snow, but it still takes a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And now the city's surrounded by Arimel's forces, so now we have the kinswomen trying to find them, but it's really hard because, like, how do we find them?
Okay.
And also the groups don't want to say, hey, I'm for Elaine, because there's a siege happening right now, and it's dangerous.
Right.
Now, this group of soldiers is led by a guy.
Yeah, so the commander is, like, there already.
Yep. And my favorite part is his name.
Charles with a Z.
Yeah, scrap the ES at the end of there. We need a Z.
Charles.
There you go.
Charles Guyben.
Yeah.
It's a good name.
Yeah.
It's funny.
I love the fact that we can't just go with like a regular Charles.
No, never. Oh, we would never go with a regular Charles. How boring.
I know. That's not fantasy at all.
Not even a little bit.
I'd be like, I don't buy this book. Bye.
Yeah, exactly. Charles E.S. Never. Disgusting. Yuck.
Anyway, okay, importantly, this guy, he's an important guy.
He's from Erangel.
Yes.
Do we know about Erangel?
Yeah, that's where the two ladies were captive. Nain and Elenia.
Oh.
And after this, he tells the story in the chapter. He's like, after they escaped, we were like, yo, we should probably get a bunch of people together, right?
Yeah.
And the captain, who's still in Erangel, was like, yeah, let's get people together, and then you can go.
Okay, is Erangel the one on
the border? Yep.
The river?
Yep.
Where Matt and Tom stopped?
Yeah, it's the border. That's the border town.
See,
yeah.
I knew I heard of it. Okay.
Yeah. We spent a lot of time in Erangel. And like around Erangel, hearing about Erangel.
And when you say a lot, like, that was in book 3. Wasn't it? Like...
But like that's also where Nain and Elenia were, being held captive.
Okay, but that was super side plot that I didn't care about at the time.
But now it's really important.
It's medium important still. Where he's from is so medium important, it doesn't even matter.
You're offending me greatly.
Okay, so Brigida wants to continue this conversation when they're all dry.
Because Elaine is...
Pregnant and can't channel and can't dry herself off.
Exactly.
And apparently, Avienda doesn't know the weaves to do
It's like, let's teach people the friggin' common, useful weaves, can we? Please?
Yeah,
just like, why don't you know that?
And the amount of channelers that she talks to on the way here, I know she would never, like, want to ask that of somebody.
Yeah.
But, like...
Can we?
Can we just ask?
Can we do it?
Like, come on.
No.
Anyway, so... Before they can go into dry up, Elaine wants to know, how many troops are you bringing? Because we're looking through the gateway, and we just see lines.
People are coming.
Of people coming in. Soldiers coming in. And turns out, we have close to 10,000 soldiers coming in.
Yeah, and a lot of them, like, kept their uniforms and their armor, and they're all people who were, like, dismissed during the Gabriel Rand stuff. So we have, like, loyal... guards, soldiers, real actual people here.
Yes.
We got 10,000 of them coming back.
Yep.
This is fantastic news.
Yes.
This is great.
It's great. And immediately Elaine promotes this guy to lieutenant.
Nope. From lieutenant.
To captain. And because we're in Canada, we can say lieutenant.
Sure.
By the way.
That works.
I recently learned that it's the same word. It's not spelled differently. Because I've heard the word lieutenant lots of times.
Yeah.
Lieutenant colonels and stuff. But I didn't know it's actually the same word as lieutenant.
Yeah.
It's the same spelling. It's just pronounced differently.
Yep.
So how was that?
Isn't language fun?
For a weird fact.
Doesn't make any sense.
No.
Yeah.
No, not at all. But anyway, this guy gets promoted. Because the guy initially is like, oh, no, I'm not a captain. No, I'm just a guy who brought everybody here.
He would need like 10 to 15 years more of service to be a captain.
Oh, and Elaine's
to be considered.
Like, I don't even know who you are, but I don't even care.
Boom. Maybe we should stop doing that too, but
immediately promoted.
Double promotion, because then Brigida's like, yo, you're my second.
Right. Now, gut check is, this is good.
Okay.
However, now that you just said that...
They did the same thing with Doyle and Mellar.
Doyle and Mellar.
Like, maybe let's vet
Except everybody had a terrible feeling about that, and they did it anyway.
Sure. I'm just
saying.
saying.
And even next chapter, they're like, hate that guy.
Yeah, sucks.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do
How
about
about
it.
fire him?
Yeah.
Literally fire him.
You could do a lot of things.
Okay, we'll talk about it then. So, Charles Gaibon is very grateful for his super double promotion or something.
It is a super double promotion.
Now it's time for Elaine to go actually inside to get dry.
Because she's wet and pregnant.
Right, and exciting news, because now we have people coming who are actually from Andor, who want to fight for Camelin, who want to fight for Elaine.
Yes.
And that's great news.
It's great. And there's a lot of them.
There's a lot of them. And because they're coming in, like, basically to the palace stables through the gateway, maybe Arimilla doesn't know about them, and we might actually be able to keep it kind of under wraps.
Secret troops.
Not really, because spies and stuff everywhere.
That also, yep.
Spies and stuff everywhere, but
it's like, boom, something they had.
Even if Arimilla finds out, it's like, this happened so suddenly that they have to change all of their plans.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you have it now, you didn't have it before, but here we go.
All right. So now it's for sure time for a break.
Yep.
Before we jump into the next chapter, and we'll be right back. Okay, so we're back. Let's jump into chapter 14. Wet things.
Yep, we're doing this.
Okay, now the chapter symbols the two birds and a star because sea folk are here. That's why.
You got it.
Okay. All right, so we're entering in an Elaine perspective, and Elaine is still pregnant.
Yep.
And she's still wet from the rain.
Mm-hmm.
We're inside the palace like 3 seconds later.
Yep.
And we get a description of all the tapestries on the walls and the fact that there's too few servants, and it's a
See,
whole
the
thing.
Tapestries are always 2 seasons ahead.
Oh my God,
so
Brett.
in the springtime, you know
Mm-hmm.
the winter's going to be coming, and then in the winter, you know that, spring and summer are going to be there eventually.
Uh-huh. Good.
Yeah.
Helps keep morale up
Yeah.
among the retired pensioners
Exactly.
who had to come out of retirement
To hang up the new tapestry. You get it. Yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So Elaine is doing her best not to snap at everybody, but then Elaine is going to get intercepted by...
Yeah, Rianne Corley.
Rianne.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she's like one of the main ones we've always heard about.
Kinswoman.
Yeah.
Kinswoman?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not
from,
sea folk.
No, she's the kinswoman from the beginning.
Okay. I think I'm going to have to do a list.
Okay.
Because these names, I don't know any of them.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's Rianne, there's Kara.
Yeah.
Maybe this is Rihanna. Remember there was a Rihanna? Under my umbrella, Rihanna?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how you're pronouncing it.
I feel like this one's Rihanna. That's
Does
why
that
I don't
help?
know Rianne.
Does that help?
Yes. No.
Anyways, Kara, we also have heard of Kara before.
Okay.
She's one of the wise women from Tom and Head who got collared by the Shanshin but then got released.
Okay. So
And-
she was a Damani.
Yes,
That
but she's technically...
Was sent by Rand.
Yeah, but she was actually
She's
a wise woman. She's not like Shanshin.
Original
Yeah,
Shanshin.
Because Jalari is the former Damani from Shanshin, so she's always been.
Right.
And Jalari was around at the same time that Olivia
Yeah.
was, and then Olivia was like, I want to be free.
I remember Olivia. Yeah.
And then she left to go fight off some Forsaken during the cleansing.
And now is committed to Rand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Jalari here is still struggling, which is kind of sad because there's a whole bunch of issues, but she's doing her best.
Okay. So Jalari sees Elaine and immediately falls to her knees. And then there's this whole scene with Kara trying to get Jalari to stop doing that.
Yeah.
Because now we're not Damani anymore.
Yeah, because of all the trauma, she can't really get over
Right,
it.
but they can't be left alone because we still don't really trust her not to go running back to the Suldam.
Yeah.
Who are currently collared?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Okay.
Or at least, yeah, they're not necessarily collared.
They're not free.
They're prisoners.
Yeah, okay.
But they're trying to get the Suldam to see that they can see the weaves.
Yes. Oh, yeah, there's that part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That whole thing is all happening within the palace, too.
Uh-huh. Yeah, because in a little bit, I don't even remember where, we get somebody who's like, she finally admitted she can see the weaves, but now she wants to kill herself.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay.
Yeah.
Not what we wanted.
Step in the direction of something.
in a direction.
Yeah, one of the actual issues here is, too, because Jalari's freaking out, Kara's trying to, help her. I think it might be Kara.
Okay.
It's probably how they pronounce it. Because it can't just be the way that you think it is. It's got to be the opposite.
No, I want it to be Kara.
Okay, that's fine. So, Rihanna.
I feel like Cara would be Kara.
Yeah, I think there's one of those.
Kara is Kara, for sure.
Okay, so then Rihanna tells them to go for a walk. Like, hey, go for a walk. It'll help you. But it's kind of weird because we also know how Damani are treated in Shanshan, and the Suldam literally exercise Damani by taking them for walks.
Yes.
So you're just like taking her for walks to try to help her break free of this cycle, but she's still being watched. It's super, like, I don't know if that's actually helpful for a strategy to help the Damani feel free.
Well, yeah, because Rihanna's like, go for a walk. Like, clear your head, go for a walk.
But like, that's what happens to Damani. Yeah. It's like, we're going to take you for a walk because you're an animal who needs to be exercised.
That's a really weird point.
Yeah. And I don't know if they know that that's a thing.
No, clearly no.
Or if there's like some...
You clearly know. None of this is trauma-informed practice.
But Kara has been a Damani, so she would know that they get walked. But maybe it's... Yeah.
Like I said, it's not trauma-informed practice.
Tricky.
Well.
Anyways, they're gone now, so like, yeah.
Okay, and Rihanna is going to be like, hey, Elaine, you should go change, because you're very wet.
We can walk and talk.
Do you get caught in the rain? Because...
You look terrible.
And this is so bad for you. It's so bad for you.
Yeah,
You're pregnant and your clothes are wet. So, like, it's the worst thing that could ever happen to a pregnant lady.
Let's go.
Yeah. And now, we're going to get going. But Elaine is going to keep it together and walks at a very average pace because there's no way she's ever going to be seen rushing around.
Well, see, it's also for safety because if people see her rushing around, they'll think, oh, no, we're in danger because...
Maybe.
The
whatever.
Queen. Yeah, and she's like, oh, there's already rumors going around that I'm going to run away or I'm trying to escape from Arimilla, things like that.
Yeah.
So, gotta play it cool.
Okay. So now the conversation continues about what to do with these Damani and Suldam that are still here in Camelin. And finally, one of the Suldam has seen the weaves.
Yep. But has admitted to it.
But it's like not good.
No.
And then we get a number 28 more to go.
Right. But it'll go faster now, maybe, because the first one caved, so maybe the rest will start to see it too.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, and this is where they talk about how the one who has admitted to seeing the weaves is now begging to be collared, and we don't really know what to do with her.
Right.
So, no, she doesn't want to kill herself, but she wants to be collared like a Damani, so...
Yeah, because she's an animal and all that, so, again, it's just terrible. And, like, what do you do?
Well, Elaine has a plan.
That's the question. What do you do?
Elaine has a plan. Want to hear Elaine's plan?
Okay.
Send her back to the Shanshan.
There we go. She deserves it. Get a taste of your own medicine.
Yeah.
And, like, kind of agree. Like, I kind of get it. Rianne is like, no, because you don't want to subject a woman to that. Obviously, that's bad. But Elaine's saying, maybe we should do that anyway.
Well, she's like, if we can send all of them back to the Shanshan once they've admitted they can see the weaves, then it'll help the Shanshan implode.
Yeah, because you can't hide who the Suldam were before now they're demonic. But it's like, yes, you can.
Yes, 100% you can.
You can just kill them all.
You just kill them.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all that will happen.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, no. But I really see Elaine's point of view from not understanding anything about the Shanshan culture and wanting to be rid of them.
I don't want them in here in my palace.
Yes.
And I get that.
Yeah. And I mean, sending them back to them, being like, they can channel too, they might say, no, we can't. And then the Shanshan will be like, well, we know who you are, and obviously you can't channel, so come on back.
But if you send them with Adam on them,
well,
attached,
you have to do that.
There's a whole lot of steps involved in that.
There's a lot of steps here. And Elaine's just like, whatever, send them back.
Yeah.
Only she's thought about all
I want is for them to not be here anymore.
Which I get.
Yeah.
I get it. You know, Rand's present.
Yeah.
Not so great. She's dealing with a lot of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, Mazrim Taim thought it was pretty funny.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
All right, but at this point, we're going to get a little side note about some Aes Sedai.
Right.
And the murder mystery.
Okay.
Now, Vandine and her warder come into view, and we learn about Vandine. So she's the one who sister died, Adelius.
Yep, Adelius, yeah.
Except she's not doing good.
No, some would say that.
All of her sister's clothes.
Uh-huh. Wearing the perfume, too.
Wearing her perfume, and keeping two people beside her at all times.
Yes, so that's Kirstian and Zarya, which were the kinswomen who had admitted, like, hey, we're actually runaways.
Zarya had a different name when we first met her.
Garinya.
Yeah, I was going to say G name. Good one.
Yeah.
Garinya. Good
There's
one.
a whole thing about that. Anyways, she is keeping them with him, and Rianne is kind of talking about how maybe Vandine is helping to cope with the death of her sister by really devoting her time to teaching these two now new novices.
Mm-hmm.
But Elaine's thinking what she's actually doing is hunting for her sister's murderer.
Right.
And she's not coping at all.
Right.
Because all she's doing is hunting for the Black Aja.
Uh-huh.
So it's not, I don't know, is it good? I kind of want Vandine to figure out this murder mystery.
Yeah.
I think we all should.
Mm-hmm.
But who did it?
I told you, Kirstian and Zarya. I still believe that.
I know you said that, but it doesn't make any sense.
Yes, it does. It makes the most sense.
That's okay.
Because they're the ones who are the novices. Who else is bringing tea?
I've heard your arguments before.
It's
I get
a good argument.
I get it.
You can't say it's a bad argument.
But Vandine is not clued in on them at all, it seems. Like, why would she
No.
keep them so close
Mhm.
for this long?
No, I know. Yeah, unless she suspects them.
Gathering evidence before
Keep
you...
your
yeah.
enemies close.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a saying for that, you know?
Is it keep your enemies close?
No, it's the closer you are to danger, the farther you are from harm.
I haven't heard that one.
Oh, you should, because it's from The Lord of the Rings.
Oh, is it? Oh, no. Oh, no.
Gotcha.
Oh, you got me. I hadn't heard. I don't know that at all. Are you going to give me context or?
Yeah, that's Merry and Pippin.
Oh.
When they're
I
trying
like them.
Yeah, trying to get Treebeard to bring him closer to Isengard.
Yes. Is that when they're riding on his shoulders?
Yeah, and they trick him.
I like that
They
scene.
trick him. And then Treebeard goes near Isengard. He's like,
Yeah.
these trees were my friends.
Aw.
Yeah, and then they just destroy
Aw.
Isengard. It's really great. It's a great scene.
Aw.
Anyways,
Okay. I remember some of that.
it's basically the same situation that's happening here.
Nah.
No, not at all, but
I
I
don't
mean,
have any big talking trees
that's okay.
who are like the best character in the entire series.
Yeah, he died in the first book.
Spoilers.
Oh, my head.
I know, yeah. Green Man, right?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we know his name.
Shomeshta.
Someshta.
Someshta.
Yep.
I got
Okay.
it. See, I know.
There we go.
I know.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to think a little bit more about this murder mystery.
Okay.
And you're going to go get me a shot.
Sounds good.
Okay. Okay. Well, we have these beautiful shot glasses that you pulled off the shelf. Lovely gifts from the island in Greece called Kos.
Yeah.
At least I think that's how I say
or
it.
Kos. I knew once. I don't know anymore.
Cheers.
Cheers to finding the murderer of Adelius.
Oh, mm-hmm. That was a good shot.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a good bartender.
Amazing.
I told you what to mix. That was good, though. Did you like that?
Yeah. It's whiskey and schnapps. Like, you can't go wrong with that.
Yeah. Blackberry whiskey and peach schnapps.
There you go.
That was a good one. I didn't even, cough at all.
Yeah.
People are going to miss it. They're
Oh,
going to
no.
be like, oh my God, I bet that was just juice. It wasn't. It was good.
Now to the point.
Okay.
Have you thought about the murderer? You still think it's one of those two?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Elaine thinks differently. We get that in a second.
Oh,
here.
I know. That's why I don't believe her. You
Right,
know?
okay. So let's
Because
get...
if Elaine thinks it, I don't believe
So
it.
it's wrong. Okay, so let's
Mhm.
get to that because now we're interrupted again by Reen Harfor.
Renee?
Sure.
Okay.
The first maid.
Okay.
Yeah, the one person who runs this place.
Yeah, and she's like, Elaine, you're so wet. You need to get out of those wet things right away.
That's the chapter title.
And you know what's funny? Because this entire chapter, I was like, are the wet things just her clothes?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep, that's it.
Turns out that's what it is. You know, because she's pregnant.
Yeah.
So
So
they
you
walk
gotta
and
get
talk, and Renee has news of the 3 mercenary captains who are demanding to meet with her right now. And I was
Right.
like, oh no, this is probably bad news.
Well, Brigitta's like, they probably just want more money because they're mercenaries.
Okay.
Like, if they were gonna do something worse, why would you have a meeting about it?
Right. Okay.
Right?
Uh-huh. And then this is when we're going to have, well, okay, no, number 1, for sure. Like, I don't know.
You gotta fill the rest of us in on what you're talking about.
Okay, you
Number
said
1 for sure
if
what?
they're going to do something worse, they're not going to have a meeting about it. Wrong. I bet they are. Maybe they're respectable enough to be like,
We quit.
maybe.
Like, what? We're gonna go join Arimilla?
Maybe. Maybe, I don't know, something worse than just we want more money. For sure, something else.
I don't know. Okay, fine.
Not that we're ever actually going to...
That's what Brigida thinks. I'm just telling you what Brigida thinks.
I know
I trust
that,
her
but
opinion.
I think maybe it's more interesting.
Fine.
I think I was hoping for more interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so turns out some Aes Sedai are with them.
Carrie Ann and Saritha. Yeah.
Okay, and guess who else?
Doylan.
Yeah. Now, looking back at my notes here.
Okay.
I have that Saritha is more suspicious than before.
Right.
Because she is sucking up to Mellar.
She was super, super hard.
Super sucking up. Because she defends Vandene. So Saritha's a gray Aja, and Carrie Ann is a green Aja who hates Wilders.
Right.
That's what my notes say. Because she really doesn't like the kinswomen.
Yeah.
And now in chapter 10 or 11 of Crossroads of Twilight, I said that Saritha is either the murderer or she's sleeping with Millar.
Like it. I love that.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Or she's just a regular old dark friend.
Those are great options.
Also that. But for sure, Saritha's on the dark friend list because she's cahooting.
Yeah. Cahoots.
She's in cahoots.
Okay.
She's absolutely...
So are you sticking with the whole, it's one of the kinswomen turned novices?
Yeah.
Or is it Saritha? Okay. Well, pick one.
Well, I need a little bit
to choose
more
all three.
About Saritha with Mellar. Because the fact that they're all here together again makes me, suspicious. My little alarms went off.
Okay. Because Elaine thinks it's either one of those two Aes Sedai who are Black Gotcha, or it's Marililla who is gone.
Oh yeah, she took off.
She's gone. With Talan, which is the whole premise of the next piece.
Right, because we have that whole recap.
So let's go over that. Let's go over that now.
Well, hold on, because we have to talk about how Elaine doesn't like Mellar at all anymore.
Yeah.
And doesn't know what to do about it.
Yeah. Fire him.
I know that.
Kick him out.
She doesn't know.
Be like, hey man, remember that promotion that I gave you a couple months ago?
I think she feels bad because
it's gone now.
Saved her life.
Yeah. From the fake.
From the fake attack.
But she doesn't know that.
Doesn't know.
Okay,
tell us about Merlilla. Merlily? People are just like, say it right. There is no right way.
There is no right way anymore. Well, Marililla's whole situation isn't that confusing because she was basically going to have to be a lapdog for the sea folk, and that sucks really bad.
Oh, yeah, she didn't want to do that.
And then Talaan, the sea folk...
I remember this one.
Right?
She's the one who was like, Nynaeve, take me to the White Tower.
Yeah, literally anyone. I want to go.
No, she confronted Nynaeve.
Yeah.
In the palace.
But she just wants to get away because the way the hierarchy works with the sea folk is
sucks.
There's no nepotism. So she's never going to be able to be brought up because she's related to really high up people or whatever. Mm-hmm. So she was like, take me to the White Tower. And then Marililla's like, hey, I hate it here. And Talaan's like, I also hate it here.
They took
so
off together.
Marillilla and Talaan left.
Mm-hmm.
That's the story.
That's it.
That's it.
Okay, see, my whole thing is I don't remember who anybody is. So.
Yeah. So now we're going to get more people introduced to this scene because Elaine turns the corner and she's intercepted by two of the Windfinders. So one is Chanel.
Who's a sea folk, right? Windfinders are sea folk.
They're sea folk, the channelers, right? And Chanel is basically in charge. So we actually saw her. She was commanding a bunch of the Windfinders. So we've heard her mentioned before. So she's up top. And the other one is Renila.
Renila we know.
We know. She was the Windfinder to Nesta, who is the mistress of the ships, who's like the queen. But when Nesta died, that means Renila automatically gets bumped down to the bottom of the hierarchy of all the sea folk.
Oh,
so she lost all of her status.
Okay, hold on. Now, I need help. See, this is where I know I need to write some stuff down.
Sure.
After this, because... there's somebody who went off to become or try to become the top Nesta.
Yes, that's
Who's
the queen. That one is
left.
Zaida.
Right,
so,
Zeta.
She's the one who left Camelin with Elaine, but then on the other side of the world, basically, we had Hareen. Because Min told Hareen that she's going to be the mistress of the ships one day.
I gotta write this down.
But we don't know when or where or what or how or whatever. So we got a couple. So now they're both basically racing to go.
Zeta and Hareen are there.
Yeah.
Renila is here and now bottom of the barrel.
And that's why she's having a tough time right now.
Okay, because I didn't know what had happened.
And that's an automatic...
I thought Renila was the one who went, and I thought maybe she's back, failed, and is at the bottom.
No, and the Renila thing, that's an automatic demotion, basically, that automatically happens.
Okay.
When...
Are they in charge of, like, making sure that their captain doesn't die or something? Like, why are they automatically at the bottom?
Just culture thing, man. I got no answers for you.
Sucks.
Yeah, well, that's the whole thing. And then we get this whole explanation because Elaine is going to have to defend herself because Chanel's like, hey, I want to know where Talon and Marililla is.
Oh, yeah.
And Elaine's like, I don't know. I didn't know yesterday or the day before or the week before.
We've had the city searched.
Yeah.
We don't know where they are. And Chanel's like, I don't care. And starts like super overstepping. And then Brigida
has to do a little threatening.
Which Elaine doesn't care for.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to get on the same freaking page. This is bad.
Yeah.
This is really bad. Because Brigida puts her foot down and is like, listen, lady, you're supposed to be doing this job and I expect you to go do this job.
They're doing a good cop, bad cop thing. It's a strategy.
No, it seems contradictory.
Okay.
Good cop, bad cop is different than this.
Okay.
Because Brigida is like, you're supposed to be going to do gateways for getting shit from Tyr. Go get some salt beef and bring it back.
Yeah.
Now.
Love it.
And Elaine is like, no, don't do that. And I was like, this is so bad. This is bad.
Yeah, and that's when Elaine tells the sea folk, you have permission to search everything you want to, but when you don't find Talon and Marililla...
I want an apology.
Exactly, you got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we also get a bit of a reminder that there's a whole bunch of Aes Sedai in the city, but...
9 right now.
Well, they come and go as they please, so the numbers fluctuate pretty often.
Yeah. But now Elaine's going to comment that she's handling the change in her position quite well, like Renila.
Yes, yeah.
And Chanel's like, I'm not impressed. Who cares?
Yeah.
Every Windfinder will rise and fall.
Yeah, they know. Like, Windfinders know that you're going to go up and down the hierarchy a whole bunch of times, so maybe...
That's like the opposite of the Aes Sedai.
Yeah, but the whole point is, Chanel says maybe Renala shouldn't have stepped on as many toes when she was, getting up to the top of the hierarchy.
As on so many fingers on her
that's
way
even
up.
worse. That's even worse.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then Elaine doesn't know how to comment on that, because she, shuts herself up, because she realizes she was talking out loud.
Yeah.
And then Elaine's like,
Don't say anything.
And then finally Chanel stares at Elaine and is like, you're wet, and it's bad to be wet and pregnant.
Yes,
and then
don't
that's
do it.
when Elaine can't handle herself.
That's the shouting.
She literally guttural screams until she's out of breath and panting.
Yeah.
And then Avienda's laughing so hard she falls down.
Yeah.
And then Chanel's like, okay.
Gonna go get that salted beef from Tyr.
No, she's not.
Yeah, she is. That's what she says she's gonna go.
Yeah, she's a liar. And Elaine's like, okay, I guess I'm gonna actually go change now.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's the whole chapter.
That's it. We did it.
It's the worst chapter I've ever read.
Worse than the one where Moraine catches fish with her hands.
Yeah, worse. This chapter belongs in Crossroads of Twilight. What's it doing in here in this book, you know?
You're being so harsh.
On Crossroads of Twilight or Elaine?
Both.
You fed me a lot of gin tonight.
That's true. And whiskey and schnapps.
I feel like I get angry with gin.
Oh, well, Maybe it's a
no,
combination.
No, it's Elaine.
It's Elaine, does
this entire thing.
Yeah.
Robert Jordan writing Elaine makes me angry. It's not Elaine, It's not her fault.
It's Robert Jordan writing Elaine pregnant. Elaine when she's not pregnant and kicking indoors.
It's just kind of boring.
Yeah.
No, that's dull too. It's all...
Mashed potatoes.
It's super mashed potatoes,
Yeah, I get it.
I appreciate the recap, and it's fine. It's fine.
Okay, so
and all of this wouldn't have mattered if I could have just kept reading.
True.
But because I can't just keep reading, and I have to talk about it again, the way we do this kind of sucks sometimes.
This just in 4 years later.
I know. Sometimes I'm like, wow, this is so fun, and I'm really glad we did this. Other times I'm like, this was stupid, and I wish we didn't have to talk about this. This was one of those times.
I get it. Next episode, 2 chapters, 15, 16.
Okay.
Powering through.
Oh my god.
For a good reason.
Not because they're both Elaine and boring.
You don't even know.
I really don't.
Yeah.
I honestly can't even, I don't know.
Yeah. There's it's mostly page count stuff.
Yeah, I know. That's what you said, but okay. Yeah. Okay. Maybe if we're with Elaine, like I said, this is my prediction.
Let's do something.
Now that we have a bunch of soldiers, we should use them.
Let's go.
Let's come up with a real plan with somebody who has maybe some real battle experience.
Right.
And Gawain should show up.
Nice. Who else?
Well, we know Matt's not going to.
Probably not.
No.
No.
That's it. That's all that's coming.
Okay.
And how's he even gonna get in? There's a whole siege around the whole city.
Gawain?
Yeah. Unless we find him, like, on the road on his way.
There you go.
We haven't heard from that guy in a long time.
A little while.
Not that I think it'll be a good thing if he shows up, honestly, but...
Oh, actually, it could be good.
It'd be an interesting thing.
Like, this is where he should be.
I want more interesting things to happen.
Okay. Then let's read on.
Okay, so before 8,000 people tell you to go change out of those wet clothes, I'm going to say that this is part of the pattern now.
Yeah, it's part of the pattern.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode. The Wheel Weaves is hosted and edited by Dani and Brett, produced by Dani and Brett, with Passion Socks, Cody Feltz, Benjamin, Michelle O'Brien, Jamie Young, Megan Smiley, Jared Berg, Ricky Morissette, Lance Barden, Charlie Haz, Adam, Marta Thier, Michelle Forbes, MKM, Antoine Benoit, Lawrence Bradley, and Eric Reed. With music by Audionautics. Please be sure to check out our Patreon page if you are interested in supporting us and the podcast. We would love to send you some Patreon exclusive merchandise as a thank you. Plus, you'll gain access to our episodes earlier than everyone else. And at the time of recording, we have over 40 bonus episodes for your listening pleasure. You can find all that and more at patreon.com/thewheelweavespodcast. For general information about our show and information like how to send us shot glasses or how to join our Discord or how to get in touch with us, you can visit thewheelweavespodcast.com. And as always, please be sure to give us that 5-star review because it really does make a huge difference in helping other people find us. Right now, we are offering to send exclusive merchandise to select people who give us 5-star reviews if you leave your username for Instagram or Twitter, and I'll reach out to you that way. Also, please be sure to tell a friend, Riyadh, because referrals really are the best compliment. Thanks again for listening. This really is part of the pattern now.